Hey y'all. Okay, so I'm supposed to be going to sleep, but as you can see, my brain is going. Um, Still thinking about, having to get rid of someone not too long ago because I've known this person basically ever since I was young, a teenager, and to have to sever ties is tricky, to say the least. But when I look back at the complete lack of proper communication with this individual, I honestly do not know how. I deserve like free vacations around the world, trophies, you know, my favorite ice cream every Friday. You know what I'm saying? For putting up with him, because I don't know how I didn't cut him off a long, long time ago. And as per the usual with a lot of narcissists, they get worse as they get older, and nobody could tell them nothing, and irrational. And I remember the last conversation, he was so confrontational and everything was an argument. And I said, why is everything a debate? Everything that I say, it becomes a debate. Why is that? He didn't know. He kind of blanked out for a second. He didn't know what to say. I said, you people wouldn't want to deal with you on a debate team because you could argue to the death, and that's pretty much what they do. They will argue to the death. They are extremely shame based, and they are extremely insecure, and nothing makes them feel better than to step on other people and to dominate the conversation and to tell you how wrong you are. Everything you do is wrong. Everything you say is wrong, 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 wrong. Don't you get it? You're wrong. I remember being blown away when I explained to this person who is a radical left. Let's just put it out there. And I don't get along with people like that because they're not open-minded. They don't want to hear facts. They don't want to see proof. Blah, 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 blah. That's, they put their fingers in their ears and they don't want to hear nothing. They're a 2-year-old, defiant 2-year-old, a stupid 2-year-old on top of that. At least kids are eager to learn. Adult kids are not eager to learn. Um, I remember I told him about a documentary that I watched where after a certain injection, y'all know what I'm saying, people were having some significant health problems. Women were having horrific menstrual cycles and, you know, issues with their pregnancy where their pregnancy would not continue, if you know what I mean. Um, Medically, it was no longer a viable pregnancy. Um, and this was happening a lot. Women were, having, I might as well say it, we're all adults up in here. They were having miscarriages left and right. This is from a documentary. This isn't what I heard on the street or I overheard a conversation or this is someone's opinion. This is documentation. This is a documentation, this is a documentary. These are professional doctors and nurses talking about this. This is not something I pulled out of my left ear. And this was happening at such a high rate that the medical staff were just shocked at the amount of these incidences where women were, you know, losing, their pregnancy. I'm not talking about a procedure where you deliberately lose, you know what I mean? It was happening on its own after this, you know, certain situation. And, like I said, women's menstrual cycles were horrific. And you know what he said? And I told him about that because they don't want proof. Radical left do not want proof. How dare you have medical proof? How dare you? How dare you listen to doctors, professional doctors? And I said, women are having these types of issues all the time. And you know what he said? They're lying. I was horrified. I could not believe what I was hearing. I said, what would they gain by lying? I said, do you know how stupid you sound? And that's how I talked to him because he was acting stupid. Do you know how stupid you sound? I said, this isn't an opinion. This is what actually was happening. What what would they gain by lying? Because for someone to lie, let's just use our brain. I know a lot of people have a hard time, but we're going to practice it today. What would a person, for a person to lie, there has to be a benefit to them. Either they can't help it, that's their personality, they're a narcissist, they always pathologically lied. They like to embellish stories so that people are oohing and eyeing at everything they're saying, like, oh my God, you fell off Mount Everest and survived. That is amazing. So obviously the person has incentive to embellish. There's something they're getting out of it. What in the hell would a woman gain by that? Telling that? What's the prize? There isn't one. There's no incentive, there's no prize, they're going to be super popular now. The whole world thinks they're amazing and wants to buy them a car and a home, a 25-bedroom mansion. There ain't no goddamn benefit to lying about that. But they're lying because the individual lacks empathy and is easily swayed. First of all, something is severely wrong with a person who is easily influenced by quotation marks people of power. They tell you how to think and you're like, okay. Tell you what to do and you're like, okay. It doesn't matter how absurd it is. It doesn't matter how ridiculous it is. It doesn't matter how stupid it is. It doesn't matter that it's a blatant lie. It doesn't matter that it's going to destroy your life. If you start believing this way, people don't care. They are more than happy to be obedient sheep. And it's shocking how many people fall for, it's really mind-blowing how many people's brains can be twisted by other people. That just floors me. That just really completely floors me. You don't want to see logic, you don't want to see reason and hear rationale. You just nana nana boo boo, I don't hear you. And it's like, what? They were lying. I'm stuttering because I'm still stuttering. I don't think I've ever heard something so crass and so hateful and so disconnected and uncaring. And after this individual had that injection done to them, eventually, you can't tell them any different. Eventually, they had a stroke. Now, this individual is healthier than a horse, with the exception of a bad knee and whatever minor things. But he had a stroke after that. He ain't never had a stroke a day in his life. Do you honestly think he'd be smart enough to make the connection? Absolutely not, because that would be going against the cult members, and you can't do that. Okay? They have to have loyalty until they die. And whatever. If they lose their life because these people, same people of authority, decided to end them, they would consider it an honor. That's how far gone their brain is. And, you're not going to win any brownie points with people. You're not going to become best friends with people when you're constantly telling them they're wrong. Meanwhile, you don't know your ass from a hole in the ground. Meanwhile, you are Old enough, way old enough to have your own place, but you have to live with family members. We're gonna go there today. Okay. You have to live with family members because you can't afford to live on your own. Okay. You're not intelligent enough to leave New York. You're too brainwashed by the officials and authority in New York. Okay. With your crooked ass mayor and everything else. We ain't gonna go there. Okay. You too obligated to them, and you have the typical brainwash that New Yorkers have. Not all New Yorkers, calm down if it ain't you. Okay. I used to live in New York and I ain't stupid like that. But a lot of people are. They're going to follow the cult. Okay. He will never leave New York. I don't know what the hell. It's the most expensive. Look here. I used to live there. I know how this is, even though I'm wrong. Okay, quotation marks wrong. New York and California are two of the most expensive states in the entire country. I have heard through the grapevine that Florida is also becoming outrageously expensive because everybody is relocating there. All right. Anyway, um, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. I'm wrong. You made a lot of money in your lifetime and you don't have enough smarts to leave New York, number one. Um, you haven't saved a penny, okay? You're happy living with your family members, your brother, your sister, your brother-in-law, and your mama until she died. All of y'all up each other's ass because you're not smart enough to get the hell out of New York and get a place that you could afford. What is this emotional attachment to a geographical region? What is wrong with you? You are getting yanked every day in your wallet because of where you live. If I'm a grown ass person and I have to live with family in order to survive, I would have a major problem with that. Okay? People usually want their privacy. They want their own place. They want their own place that they can walk around in their underwears or in their birthday suit if they so desire. Okay. There were so many people living in his house at one point. Me and my friend used to make a joke that he'd have to sleep under the coffee table because there was no room. And then his niece moved out because she used to live there too. It was like a whole family affair. Everybody living with each other. What the hell? If I had to live in that situation, it's time for me to consider something else. It's time for me to go somewhere I can actually afford. Okay? You had all them people and you getting on each other's nerves. He don't get along with women. Him and his sister go at it. She has an anger problem. His other brother, I do believe, is schizophrenic. Okay. He's lackadaisical about his diagnosis. I said, what's wrong with him? Oh, I don't know. He takes some medication, whatever. He don't even know what is wrong with his brother because it don't affect him. Okay. His brother's schizophrenic. And he's a narcissist. You got three kids in the family that are adults that are all twisted in the head. They all have severe problems. It took me all these years to figure out that he's a freaking narc. Because the longer I knew him, the more arrogant he became and the more argumentative he became. And the more I was wrong, I was wrong, I was wrong, I was wrong. By God, I'm wrong. When the sun is out and I say the sun is out, by God, I'm wrong. It only appears to be out. You know, they have to be aggressive, they have to dominate, they have to um, make people feel bad while simultaneously talking about how great they are and how, I'm so good to women, which is bullshit. I'm so good to women that even if they're with a man, they would, if I tell them I want some, all they gotta do is make a phone call. Bullshit and triple layers of bullshit. No. Every woman don't want you and every woman ain't. I talked about that before. That's his god dang flippin' ego talking. None of that is rationale and a illogical thought. That is his ego talking. Okay, please. You got to be freaking kidding me. And when these women find out that you are disconnected from them, you can't even look in their face, you don't look at them while they're talking, you are disconnected like a freaking statue. Oh yes, women find that irresistible. I'm trembling at the thought of being with him. Oh my God, I would love to be. You gotta be kidding me. I'd rather be with a statue because he's got more emotions than you. Okay? I'd rather be with a damn statue. How, he doesn't treat women well. Women are, and I've talked about this before, a sexual opportunity. That is all. They're not smart. They're not funny. They're not artistic. They're not successful students in college. They are not top notch in their field. They are not, high class corporate professionals. They are just sexual objects. Period. That is all. He gets along better with men because men. I looked this up. I actually researched this, okay? And I found that narcissistic men have more respect for other men, usually because they consider both of us are men. We're both on the same playing field. We're both, we both have power and strength and all this other stuff that, like, we're kind of like a boys' club. But women are, unless they're gay, they don't see men as a sexual opportunity. Gay men will see other gay men as a sexual opportunity, or so-called bi people will see, either gender as a sexual opportunity, but straight men do not. Okay? It's just absolutely insane. Treats men way better than women any day of the week, and like I told him, which of course he denied. I don't give a rat's ass that you denied. I don't really care. I'm right whether you want to admit it or not, and you can't fathom a woman being right because it's just horrifying. The thought of that is just horrifying. But he does not treat men the same way. He does not, and I've told him that before I cut him off. I said, "You don't tell men that they're wrong every time they open their mouth." "Yes, I do. Yes, I do." No, the hell you don't. No, you don't. Stop lying. Because if you treated Stallion, I called John, his friend John, Stallion because he's Italian. So I named him Stallion. I said, you don't talk to John like that. You don't talk to Stallion like that. You don't tell him he's wrong every minute of the day. Because you wouldn't have friends if you did that routinely with people. You would not have any friends. And I'm going to say something. It's going to sound harsh, but I really don't give a shit. I think because narcissists have the ability to make people feel so bad and to depress them so badly and to cut them down all the time. Some people have ended themselves as a result of narc abuse. And I wonder if his female friend, who he supposedly wasn't attracted to, which don't buy that for $2 because I think that's a lie. He will stick it anywhere he can. Typical male. All men don't act this way, thank you God. Some men actually are decent. I just haven't met them yet. Anyway, in person, I've not met them yet. I wonder if because he has a way of chopping people down, if that's the reason she ended herself. Because he will depress you to the point of no return. He will smash you into the ground, and if you're not strong in who you are, he will make you feel so small, and you're 1 centimeter tall, you know. An ant is taller than you are. If it stands on its back legs, it's taller than you are. And that has driven people to end themselves. And I wonder if he did that to her, if he smashed her into the ground and she ended herself. Yeah. Makes you wonder. Because he can sure enough make you feel real bad about yourself or try to. I just tell him off. You're fucking stupid. I'm tired of hearing your mouth, and I'm sick and tired of how you talk to me, you little bastard. Did you just call me a bastard? You heard what I said. I didn't stutter. I get mean. See, I don't get depressed and want to end myself. I want to end you. Okay, not literally, but go upside your head with a frying pan would be a good idea. Okay, it's a fantasy in my head. Leave me alone, guys. Don't do it. I would not advise you go upside someone's head with a frying pan, but it does get tempting when they run their mouth too much. Anyway, I'm just kidding, or am I? But anyway, um, yeah, nobody's gonna love you to pieces when you constantly tell them they're wrong because you live in a freaking bubble and you live in a fantasy world where, you know, raindrops are Skittles and lollipops grow on trees because certain people told you so. And you believe them because you're stupid and you refuse to see proof otherwise. Okay? And the more you know, the more you learn, if you're open minded, the more you're horrified by what has really gone on behind the scenes, especially in the US. Okay. Horrifying. The shit that's gone on behind the scenes, just horrifying. But anyway, yeah, like I said, I get mean. I'll cuss you out. I will tell you that you're stupid and you're brainwashed and, oh, you're brainwashed. No, actually, I educate myself. I don't have an opinion either way or the other until I see proof. I don't watch, you know, sitcoms, and that's where I get my, uh, you know, that's where I get my opinions about life from, or I quote facts from TV series. No, baby, no, baby, no, baby. I watch documentaries. I research. I read articles from highly influential people who are super, super smart. I listen to what doctors say. I listen to what nurses say. I listen to what scientists say. I listen to people who what they're saying makes a hell of a lot more sense than what someone else is telling me to think and believe because they said to. That's not going to cut it with me. I want to see proof and listen to many people who have gone through the same experience. They weren't influenced one way or the other, but this is what happened to them as a result of this. And it's proof. It's documentation on paper and everything. And proof, when people are so far left, they don't want to hear proof. So you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Women who are suffering as a result of that, they're lying. It is horrifying to hear someone say something like that. Imagine when he had this stroke and the doctor did the MRI or whatever and said, the machine says you had a stroke, but I think the machine is lying. Or I think you're lying because I know the machine makes it look like you have a stroke, but I think you're lying. I think you just came in here for attention. He'd be horrified and very upset. Oh, it's not so much fun on the receiving end, is it, you little bastard? It's not so much fun on the receiving end. But you could be disrespectful to people you don't even know when they've had horrific, horrific emotional and physical symptoms and pain and situations. You just sit here and shrug your shoulders because it didn't happen to your dumb ass. And when it did happen to you, you don't want to believe that Big Daddy is capable of doing that to you. So you're going to be a loyal sheep from now on too. You know? Honestly, I'm dead serious when I say this. It floors me. I don't know what it is. It floors me that I stayed in contact with that individual for as long as I did. And I'm gonna tell you something else too. I suspect because he knows that I teach people about narcissistic abuse and narcissistic behavior and how to recover from their shit. All right. I think that I don't know if he knows that he's a narcissist, but for quite some time before I cut him off, he had been not really talking to me that much anymore. And I suspect it's because he knows something is wrong with him but he didn't have a word for it. Narcissists know usually that something is wrong with them. They know that people are turned off by them. They know that people look at them funny and turn around and walk away without saying another word. I mean, come on, they're not blind. They see how people respond to them or don't respond to them. They know that what they're saying sounds totally dismissive and disrespectful on every level there is, but they may not know the word for it. They may not know that they're actually a narcissist, okay? Or that they have bipolar, or that they just know that something isn't right and people don't respond well to them, and they maybe don't have that many friends. And the few friends that they do have, like the guy friends that he does have, that he doesn't see them as a sexual opportunity, they're kind of lucky that way. Um He's had them his whole life. So when people have been, I don't want to say putting up with you, but they've been knowing you their whole life, they kind of learn to tune out the things about you that are not that great and focus on the one or two things about you that is great. Okay. And they may feel guilty for dropping you as a friend because y'all grew up together and they just kind of overlook your whatever's wrong with you. They kind of overlook it. So I don't know. But yeah, if it wasn't for those people that grew up with, they all grew up together, I honestly don't think he'd have any friends. And if he did, they would be more acquaintances because he's gonna do like a lot of narcissists do, female narcissists as well. They're going to put their best foot forward when they see these people, so these people never see them when they're emotionally and psychologically spinning out of control, when they're saying things they have no business saying. They don't, when they're crass and insensitive to other people's pain, they don't show that side. Okay. So they're not like real friends. They just know the fake nice person that you pretend to be. They don't know the real you, because if they knew the real you, they would run for the hills. Okay. They would run for the hills. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. He would never make it in college. It's a good thing he did not go. He would never make it in college, because your professor's not going to want to hear how wrong they are when they are educated and have a master's degree and your punk ass don't even have an associate's degree. They ain't trying to hear that you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. Show me proof to the contrary. And even if they did show his ass proof, he'd still argue to the death, because that's who the hell he is. He would never make it 5 minutes in college. He would probably fail every course because they're tired of looking at you and they're damn sure tired of hearing your mouth. I feel really bad for teachers and professors who deal with narcissistic students. Oh, God. They will argue to the death. Like I told this one guy, he was being really mean to Nurse Julie. She's a hospice nurse and she's wonderful. She's just a real sweet person, and she takes away the fear of dying. She teaches about death and dying and what to expect, and she's just an expert in the field. And one guy questioned her, but it was like I picked up on what he said was sarcasm, like, and she answered his question, and then he came back with a meaner comment and meaner question. And I said, you know what, you seem like a narcissist. You will argue with a fence post. She answered your question, knock it off. I basically jumped his world because we all have a lot of respect for her. And I'm not going to sit here and allow you, you little peasant, I'm not going to allow you to come on here and argue her to the death when you know god dang well what she said, but you trying to be, contrary for the sake of being contrary. And people don't really dig that. All right. And next he'll say how wrong she is too. And oh God help him if he does that crap around me, because I will jump his ass with both feet. And I'm not kidding. I let him have it in a nice way. I didn't cuss or nothing, but I said, you're the type of person who can argue with a fence post. Okay. The woman's an expert in her field. What in the hell are you questioning her so hard for? She answered your question. Now move on. Okay, if you don't understand it, that's different. Well, can you explain a little more about that, because I'm kind of confused, or whatever the case may be. But don't freaking batter her, and you damn sure not going to batter her in front of me. Oh, honey, you no. No, you'd rather meet a tiger face to face than deal with me. I'm telling you, okay? Especially if you go after someone I like and someone I have respect for. God help you. It'll be a real bad day for you. Knock it off. Yeah, God, argue, argue, argue. And it also is a form of the constant arguing is a form of control. If I constantly have you defending yourself, explaining yourself, you're constantly don't know when I'm going to be, if I'm a narc, when I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected, or when I'm going to just throw darts at this conversation and make you feel bad or make you feel stupid, or I question you over and over and over again, saying the same question 5,000 different ways just to be contrary. That's just how they do. And it's a form of control because you're going to start getting pissed off. You're not going to get mad right away, maybe, because you think that this person's they're asking legitimate questions, when in reality, they may be doing it just to antagonize. Because if I'm a narc, I can control your emotions by what I say. I can bring up hot topics. You know what? A lot of people do this crap. They would do it in public. They will do it in front of a lot of people. They will do it at a party. They will do it at a job fair, or they will do it at a wedding, or they will do it wherever there's a lot of people because they can get the most effect from it. And I experienced this with one guy who is a narcissist, by the way. I studied his behavior and I listened to what he said, and I'm like, oh God, he is such an arc. Oh my freaking God, he's so weird. He's always fishing for compliments. That's another sign. Anyway, uh the one that was in the meetup, honey, he brought up all the topics that you do not bring up in public, number one, and you do not bring them up in rapid succession. Okay. You know, termination of pregnancy, religion, politics, every hot topic he went bullseye. Bam, 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 bam. And one of the girls, who's also a narcissist, because she has to be the center of attention every day of the week, honey, don't you even think she don't need to be the center of attention, because she does. Anyway, she looked at him, and even she was surprised at him, and she said, what the F is wrong with you? You don't bring those topics up in public. He just kind of smirked and said, well, I just want people's opinion. No, he doesn't want their opinion. He wants to be a hotbed of fights, verbal fights. He just wants to see the darts fly and watch people, because anybody, whether you're a narcissist or you're not a narcissist, whether you're a manipulative gaslighter or you're not, you're just an average Joe. Anyone can dominate other people by bringing up topics that are guaranteed to make people go 0 to 1,000 in 30 seconds flat. All you got to do is bring up religion or one of the other hot topics, and before you know it, the fire has started and people are raising their voices and getting red in the face. So anybody can consciously control other people and make them, like in the back of their mind, they can think to themselves, this party's kind of boring. Watch me start a fire. And then they start bringing up hot topics, and before you know it, you got a group of people going off on each other. Faces are getting red, voices are getting louder, and they can sit back and drink a glass of wine and stay out of it. They could start the fire and sit back and watch and giggle. You can manipulate people by those hot topics because you know for a fact that once you bring it up, someone's going to lose their shit because it's a hot topic. Why people get so aggressive about these topics, I don't know. Why it has such an impact on people, and they went from cool, calm, and collect to grrrrr. People just know. And narcissists know. Most people are smart enough not to do it because you're going to make everybody hate you in less than 5 minutes. It's just not a smart thing to do. But narcissists get a kick out of it because, like I said, they start a fire and then they walk away. And they kind of laugh to themselves like, and then if someone were to say, now, why did you do that? What was that all about? I was just trying to start a conversation. No, they weren't. No, they weren't. They were trying to start war. And they were effective. And they think it's funny. Yeah. You know, I'm of the age and at the point in my life where if you cannot be a good person and you cannot bring your ass to therapy and straighten all that shit out before you meet me, please don't waste my time. Be normal when you talk to me. Don't argue with me because I will get meaner and meaner and meaner, or I would just ignore you completely because I'm not going to go through this. So it just depends on my mood. If multiple things have gone bad on a particular day and then you decide you want to add some fire, some wood to the fire, you might get your ass chewed out. It just depends on my mood. Or I may just disengage altogether. Now, from him, the last individual, I have completely disengaged. And I didn't tell you guys this, but he actually left me messages, which he's blocked on my phone. Unfortunately, a person could still leave a voice message. And he left a message saying, I told him, good luck with your life. I'm done with you. Good luck. And he called me, left a message, and said, I'm not walking away that easily because I love you too much. Okay. Another individual who doesn't have the foggiest clue what love is. That word is thrown in the air like confetti at a wedding, and people don't have a gad dang flipping clue what love truly means. Love is not about you, it's about the other person. What are you willing to do for them? How much of yourself are you willing to give for them, and how much of themselves will they give for you? It has to be reciprocal if it's love on both ends. Belittling, being, degrading people, dismissing them, having no empathy and no compassion and no understanding for what someone's going through, even if they reach out to you and say, hey, this is worrying me. You have no emotions about it, and you think I'm supposed to equate your dismissive attitude as love? Dude, what planet are you on? I'll give you an example. I talked about my foot. My foot is still swollen, by the way, because it takes a long time to heal. You're standing on your foot. You're walking on your foot. I don't want to be in a wheelchair every day. I do not want to use crutches. Would that benefit me? Yes. Do I want to do it? No. Okay. But I told him I'm worried about the staple being cracked, how part of it's broken. That worries me. And he said he was dismissive. Well, you're going to see your doctor, right? Yeah, I'm going to eventually see him. I think I'm seeing him in April. Don't quote me, but I think I'm seeing him in April. Or May, I can't remember which. But when someone tells you, and I didn't realize he's a narc and has no empathy, okay? He was faking it real good for a lot of years. Got to give him, he needs an Academy Award. Okay. But someone tells you who doesn't normally say this. I don't normally tell people that. I don't normally say, I'm really worried about, because I have to deal with everything myself, which requires a strength that doesn't allow me to be vulnerable with people because no one's in my corner any damn way. So there is no point in laying down my protective wall and saying, I got to be honest, I'm really concerned about my foot. But I did do that with him, and he was dismissive. Well, you're seeing your doctor, right? That isn't the point. And sometimes women don't need a solution. We just need to talk about it. I'm worried. I'm concerned. We're looking at it can't heal externally, which means they have to go inside and fix it if that's what's going to happen, because it ain't going to get no better since it's already compromised. The strength of the staple is already compromised. It don't get no better from here, come on. So yeah, I needed to talk about it. I needed to express my concern about it. I don't need to hear semantics. I don't need to hear, well, you've got an appointment, right? How's that? Well, of course I have an appointment, fool. That's not the point. Look. Okay. All right. Anyway, I just needed to vent a little bit. I love you guys. Thank you for being my fam. You guys are amazing. I love each and every one of you. And thank you for letting me vent and have a little hissy fit and blow off steam, because it really helps. Helps me feel better. And it gives you a better understanding of what these toxic individuals do and what they're capable of. And when you put your foot down and you cut them loose, you got to cut them loose. Don't go back to them. Look here, friends or ex-husband or ex-wife or whatever, ex-fiance, whoever, buddy, y'all went to school together and you didn't realize that they're hateful. Look, you got to cut them loose and don't go back. Don't go back. They always get worse as they get older. They don't have an epiphany. And now all of a sudden they're a better person. And don't work like that. All right, you guys, take care. Much love. Bye.